Let's begin by lying on our backs, legs out long, arms by your sides. Start to connect with your breath. Really breathing into your lower abdomen and exhaling fully. See if you can make your breaths equal on the inhales and the exhales. Your affirmation for today's practice might be, I transform, or I'm learning to transform. Inhale, and on your next exhale, draw your knees up and in towards your chest. Bring a hand to each knee and gently start to rotate your knees one way and the other, creating circles with each knee. Your lower back might get a nice massage here. And when you're ready, roll up to seated or roll onto one side and slowly make your way up. When you get there, come to all fours, hands grounding firmly into the mat in line with your elbows and shoulders, knees directly under your hip points. Create as much length as possible from the crown of your head down to your tailbone. As you inhale, draw your tailbone gently up and gaze up. Exhale, draw your tailbone down as you gaze between your knees. Inhale, lower your belly, look up. And exhale, draw your belly in as your tailbone curls down. Now move in your own time, as smoothly as possible, matching your breath to your movement and movement to breath. Now as you come back to a neutral spine, spread your fingers super wide as you start to lift your knees up and send your hips back to downward dog. And breathe here, maybe pedaling out through your feet. Knees can be bent as much as you need so that you feel like your back is nice and long. Head rests between your upper arms. Now inhale forward to plank pose, so your shoulders are stacked above your wrists and your body is in one straight line. You might check to make sure your bum isn't sticking up or dipping down too low. And breathe here in plank pose. Inhale here and exhale to push back up to down dog. Let's try that again. Inhale to plank and exhale and inhale and exhale back to down dog. One more time, a bit quicker. Inhale to plank pose, breathe here, and exhale, this time lower to your bellies. Now come to bring your hands in line with your chest and your elbows drawing in towards each other. Inhale as you draw your shoulder blades down your back and lift your chest forward as though you were reaching forward with it. Your neck stays nice and long, so you might need to tuck your chin in slightly. And exhale back down to the floor. Now take your arms a bit wider than your mat as you come onto your fingertips. Shoulder blades are still drawing down and back. On your next inhale, rise up, letting your heart shine forward, crown of the head reaching up. And exhale to lower back down. Now, in your own time, repeat this action, rising up as you inhale and lowering as you exhale, trying to make this movement as wave-like as possible. Scorpio is a water sign, and fluid motion is especially encouraged in today's practice. On your next inhale, bring your hands back underneath your chest, bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. And breathe here. On your next inhale, gaze forward, bend your knees and make your way to the top of your mat for halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, releasing your neck. Inhale, slowly roll all the way up to standing in mountain pose. Now we'll do some sun salutations, modified first, followed by one with more advanced options. Inhale, bring your hands up to the sky, gazes up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, as you gaze forward, hands to your shins, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step your right foot back, pause here. And exhale, step your left foot back, plank pose. Inhale, lower your knees to the floor. And exhale, lower your belly to the floor. Draw your shoulders down your back. Inhale, send your chest forward for baby cobra. And exhale to bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. Bend your knees to create more length in your spine. Maybe start to work towards straightening them in your own time. Remember to take weight off your wrists by grounding down through your fingertips and knuckles, almost gripping the mat with your hands. On your next inhale, gaze forward and step up to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, letting your head release. Inhale to raise back up, send your hands to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. And breathe here. Let's go again. So inhaling, your hands up to the sky, gazes up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze up. And exhale, step or hop back to plank pose. Inhale in plank. And exhale, lower to your knees and come to your bellies or take a chaturanga. Inhale to shine your heart forward for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. And see what happens if you start to slow down your breath and deepen it further. Take weight back into your heels by bending your knees and sending your hips up and back. And let your neck relax. On your next inhale, bend your knees, gaze towards the top of your mat, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to raise back up to standing, sending your hands to the sky, and exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Inhale, raise your hands up to the sky, gazing up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, look up. And exhale, step or hop back to plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, lower to your knees or take a chaturanga. And inhale, shine your heart forward for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. And breathe here. On your next inhale, lift your right foot up and back behind you, keeping your hips even, toes pointing down. Exhale, draw your knee in and towards your chest and step your foot up between your hands. Place your left knee down. Inhale to create length in your spine, and exhale, start to draw up, bringing your hands to your front thigh. And breathe here. On your next inhale, you might curl your back toes under and raise your back knee as you inhale your arms for a high lunge. Exhale, send your arms out to a T and twist to your right. And inhale, bring your arms up, maybe taking a gentle back bend. And exhale, gently send your hands back to the floor, stepping back to down dog. Breathe here. Inhale your left foot up and back behind you, making sure your hips are staying even. Weight is evenly distributed in your hands. And on your next exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest and send your left foot between your hands. And gently place your right knee down. Inhale to create length through your spine, drawing your chest forward. And exhale, bring your hands up to meet your front thigh. You might curl your back toes under as you raise your knee for a high lunge. Inhale, swim your arms up to the sky, gazing up. And exhale, send your arms out to a T and twist your left. Inhale, your arms back up, maybe adding a gentle back bend. And exhale, send your hands back to the mat and stepping back for down dog. Inhale, your right foot up and back, again keeping your hips even. And exhale, send your foot up between your hands. Set your left foot down so that your toes turn out slightly. And inhale up onto your fingertips. Lengthen through your spine. Exhale, swim your arms back behind you and really energize through your legs, grounding firmly into your back leg. And inhale, rise up for Warrior One, arms reaching to the sky. And breathe here. Your gaze might come up to your hands. If you're feeling a bit unsteady, shuffle your front foot to the right a bit. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, maybe bending your right knee a bit more, as long as you can see your big toe. Now exhale your hands down to your hips as you straighten both legs and bring your back foot in a foot or so. Make sure that your hips are squaring to the front of the mat or as close as possible. Start to add a micro bend in your right knee. As you do so, start to tip forward from your hips, lifting your back leg up off the floor any amount. Toes are still facing down towards the mat and your back foot is super active, as if it was reaching into a wall behind you. You might inhale as you take your arms forward, or rest them in prayer at heart center, or bring them out to your sides like an aeroplane. Personal favorite. And on your next exhale, send your back foot up to meet the front at the top of your mat. Inhale, raise your hands, gaze up to the sky, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, raise your left foot up and back behind you. And exhale, draw your foot in between your hands. Plant your right foot down onto the ground, turning your back toes out slightly. And inhale to come up onto your fingertips, broadening across your collarbones. Exhale, swim your arms back behind you, energizing through your legs, almost drawing them in towards each other. And inhale, rise up to Warrior One, sending your arms up to the sky. Gaze between your hands. And breathe here. You might try to lift your back heel up off the ground and place it back down. Just seems to create a bit more stability in our ankle. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, maybe bend your knee a bit more. On your next exhale, send your hands to your hips, making sure that they're vaguely straightened to the front, and start to bring your back foot in about a foot or so. Now start to hinge from the hips as you send the crown of your head forward and lift your right leg off the floor any amount, and continue to keep that foot super active as it reaches towards the back wall. Toes up, facing down towards your mat. Once again, you can take your hands out in front of you to prayer or to aeroplane arms. And your next exhale, slowly come back to standing at the top of your mat. Inhale, raise your hands up to the sky, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step or hop back to plank pose. Lower to your knees, sending your belly to the floor, or chaturanga. And inhale your heart forward for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. From here, bend your knees and lower your hips all the way back towards your heels for child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch and send your knees out wide as you sink your heart down onto the mat and reconnect with your breath. In your own time, come to roll over and lie flat on your backs. Now bend your knees, feet on the floor, hips width apart. Draw your feet in towards your hips. Ideally, your fingertips can almost touch your heels. Inhale here, and as you exhale, start to gently peel your tailbone up from the mat, inch by inch. Make sure your knees aren't flopping out, but tracking forward. Send your chest up to the sky, and maybe start to tuck your shoulder blades in so that your hands can clasp together under your tailbone. Inhale as you ground down through your feet and your shoulders. Continue to send your chest up to the sky, send your chin to the sky, and start to lower back down gently as possible for a soft landing. Let your knees fall out to the sides, bringing the soles of your feet together for reclined bound angle pose. It might be nice to raise your arms up and behind your head. Maybe give yourself a little head massage. And reconnect with your breath. Now draw your knees over to the left side so that they're both facing towards the left. And turn to look over your right shoulder. You might send your arms out long. And breathe into the twist. Inhale back to center, and exhale, send your knees to the right, keeping your left shoulder on the mat and gazing over your left arm. And breathe here. Unwind and come to lie flat on your backs. Send your legs out long and send your arms out to your sides for Savasana. As you bring yourself into your final resting pose, letting go of any tension and energy that was built up in your practice, I'll share what I know about Scorpio season with the intention that you get to experience the best this time of year has to offer. The sun is in Scorpio from October 23rd to November 21st. And if your birthday is in that time, you likely know that you're a Scorpio star sign, or sun sign in astrology speak, or maybe it's your rising sign. Either way, Scorpio may appear a bit scary, but it's truly a fascinating sign. Someone with a sun or a rising sign in Scorpio is mysterious, intense, and passionate, and a most loyal, devoted friend. Water is your element. Water signs are associated with the Ayurvedic dosha of Kapha. When there is too much Kapha nature in someone, it can result in excess lethargy and can lead to feeling dull and heavy, as well as having the physical manifestations of congestion. Because of this, it's recommended to keep your yoga asana practice regular and incorporate a more vigorous flow. Powerful standing poses creating heat in your body will counter your natural tendency to feel a bit cold and sluggish. I'll stop talking now and let you rest.